Welcome to the Happy Doc, the voice of fulfilled physicians. This show is about bringing inspirational, creative, successful, and happy health professionals to you. Get ready to learn how you can be a happy doctor too. What's up, guys? This is Taylor, and this is another episode of the Happy Doc. I'm super pumped for this episode because I think it's going to be short, it's going to be sweet, and it's going to give you a nice conceptual tool that you might use to better your life. So without further ado, this podcast episode was inspired by the article written by Dr. Neil Desai on our website. So if you go on thehappydoc.com, you will go to the blog page and you can click, it's under the podcast link, and you click on blog and you'll see it's titled Curbside with Dr. D, a new mantra, yes and. And I'm not going to repeat the article in this conversation, but what I do want to do is summarize the concept, and I would love for you to read it yourself, as it is beautifully written by Dr. Neil Desai. So for me, what I got out of the yes and concept, and one of the tools you can take away from our conversations, is identity diversification. As medical students and doctors, our identities are immersed in the medical profession. But have we stepped so far into the pool of medicine, so to speak, that we are drowned by it? Can we dive in, grab onto some handles when we feel lost, and make our way back to the land? And not only can we go to the land, but can we try other things as well, so we're not just locked into this pool of medicine, so to speak? Identity diversification is as it sounds. It's about diversifying where you find meaning in your life. For example, if you're going to develop a stock portfolio, you want to diversify your portfolio. If you put all of your money into NASDAQ, for example, you will be very upset when you put in those $10,000 and all of a sudden all of your money is gone because NASDAQ failed. That's the same thing we're doing as medical students or as doctors when you completely find your meaning through that field. Yes, it's high reward when things turn right, but it's also terrible when things go wrong. Can you imagine the surgeon who works countless hours, who barely sees his family, and then has a bad day at work where the surgery fails? Do you realize the meaning that person placed in their life? And when that happens, how terrible they feel? That's because their life is not diversified. And I'm not saying all surgeons are like that. I'm just giving you an example. Can you imagine the medical student that pours his heart and soul and puts countless hours into something only to find out that they failed a test, or that they did poorly on a quiz, or that they didn't understand the meaning of something and they feel terrible? It's because they didn't diversify their identity and have something else to fall back on. That's not to say we don't dive into things. That's not to say that we don't put our energies into something, but it is to say that we have to find meanings in other areas besides medicine. And by understanding this concept, I want us to reconnect with the Yes and article, because in that article, Neil touches on figuring out what other things are you doing besides medicine. What is your yes and? It's not just medicine, but medicine and friends, medicine and blogging, medicine and music. You know, what were your interests before you started this journey? What makes you unique? What talents did you have? And how do you reconnect to that and leverage your interests to develop something new? How do you re-diversify your identity? If one area fails, can you still find peace and meaning in other areas in your life? When something takes all of your time, it also takes some of your meaning. How can you create joy in other areas? As Dr. Kevin Poe from kevinmd.com mentioned in our interview with him, and you guys should please check out that episode on our podcast, he said what gives him meaning and more creativity and joy is working on his webpage, kevinmd.com. It provides him another layer of expression and work for him outside of just medicine. This concept holds true for other areas of work as well, because it's not just medicine, but in other fields. If you're a lawyer and you work all of your time as a lawyer and that's all you do, when you lose a case, how terrible does that feel? You haven't diversified your identity. So diversifying your identity and building on strengths, using your skills, and looking at ideas that you want to develop, that's an amazing tool. And again, to reconnect with your article, what we're saying is, what is your yes and? So you're a doctor and what else? You're a lawyer and what else? You're a human being and what else, So our takeaway from this podcast episode is to reflect on other areas of your life besides just medicine, or other areas besides your vocation, and asking yourself, how can you diversify your identity? What other things can you put your energy into? And I would also want to pose this thought as well. If you work on another creative aspect of life, for example, music and medicine, what you might not realize is that the music actually inspires you to do a better job at work, and vice versa. So don't think that by spreading yourself into other areas, you're actually limiting your effectiveness in medicine or your vocation, as they actually might be symbiotic and work together. So that's the podcast episode for today. And my call to action for everyone is to go on the Happy Doc website, find the article written by Neil Desai. And if you like what we're doing here, if you love what we're doing here, please share the podcast, please share the article, and give us feedback. Let us know how we can do a better job, because we want to bring value to medical professionals as well as all of our listeners. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Happy Doc. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed this episode, and we want you to definitely subscribe to our social media channels. Check out The Happy Doc on Facebook, iTunes, Twitter, and Instagram. Please like, subscribe, share, and send us feedback. And please check out the website, www.thehappydoc.com. Again, we hope you enjoyed The Happy Doc, the voice of fulfilled physicians. Peace out.